As we've discussed in the past, side-by-sides are dwindling in popularity and ownership. However, they really shouldn't be, and today I've got 10 reasons for you why side-by-sides are worth owning. First reason is weight. A side-by-side, because of its smaller lower frame, smaller thinner stock and smaller thinner forend, is generally and pretty much always lighter, gun for gun, spec for spec, than an over and under. A lightweight gun has an array of advantages. The first and foremost being that you do carry it all day. Less fatigue, you're going to be more sharper, you're going to be more on point, and that's good. And secondly, a lightweight gun is that little bit faster. If you're on upland game or walked up game, or in fact any kind of snap shooting, a side-by-side will reign supreme. The speed that you can just maneuver it between your hands is superior to a heavier gun, and that's as simple as that. It's not a small weight saving either. Gun to gun, you're looking at a 1 to 2 pound saving. That's a lot. Point number 2 is quality, and I'm not talking about hardiness here, I'm talking about hand-built quality. The wood to metal finish, the way it's regulated, the way it opens and closes is genuinely just perfect. The man hours that have been put into this to build a quality firearm, well, you just don't get that nowadays without spending a house worth on a gun. Point number 3 is variety. Remembering that side-by-sides have been around for 150 years or so plus, well, there's been a lot of variety that's been made in that time. Fashions have changed, different barrel length fashions, different styles, Damascus, stocks, forends, engraving patterns have come and gone. And as such, the availability of a variety of different guns is just excessive. You know, you could go out and you could buy a nicely neat rose and scroll gun, you could buy a deeper cut, more Art Nouveau gun, you could buy a variety of things. Pistol grips, beaver tails, magnums, different checkering patterns, different wood styles, different locking mechanisms, different ejector mechanisms. I mean, Jesus. You could literally own whatever you want. To that effect, you're not even limited to a top lever. You get side levers, under levers, rotary, push down. There is so much choice and variety in side-by-sides that, well, there's nothing sheepy about them, is there? Everyone is different, and these two guns, although they're made around a similar period, are completely different. And that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I say in a similar period, probably 20 years apart. If you look at over and unders, what we were making 20 years ago and what we make today, they're different. However, because one's made today and one's made 20 years ago, we think, you know, very differently to these, which were made a very long time ago, however, very long different times ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're all stunning, but they're all different. Number 4 is beauty. And although we touched a little bit on this with quality, the beauty that comes with that quality is just there, isn't it? There is nothing that looks like a side-by-side. It is so beautiful. My case in point for beauty is always the hand engraving. This gun is a work of art. And although there are a lot of over and unders that are hand finished and hand built, well, there's just that many more side-by-sides, aren't there? And the beauty that comes from that, you'd happily hang this on the wall, if you're allowed. Number 5 is style. There is nothing as stylish as a side-by-side. Anybody could miss pheasants, but you can miss pheasants very stylishly with one of these. The way they swing, the way they shoot, the way they look, everything is just beautiful. There's something very graceful and stylish about one of these. As I've said, although this gun is very stylish, in fact all side-by-sides are extremely stylish, just the lines on them are just there. The real stylish thing comes in when shooting one of these. It lends itself to an older, more Stanbury style type of thing, and actually, you know what, that arched back picture, that postcard picture of shooting has to be done with one of these. Number 6 is heritage. Keeping history of side-by-sides alive, whether that's tradition of shooting them or just keeping them from being scrapped or abused, is something that keeps your heart a little bit warm and fuzzy. Having a gun that is significantly older than, you know, your grandfather, there's a lot to be said for that. The amount of stories this gun could tell, the amount of people that have used and loved this gun, well, that's nice. And it would be a shame to see them committed to a scrap bin. And as such, owning one just for the sake of owning one, or just for the sake of keeping heritage alive, taking it out once or twice a year and just, you know, treating yourself and treating the gun to a day out, well, There's a lot to be said for that. Imagine it a little bit like a classic car. You're not going to own it as a daily driver potentially, but every time you take it out, you're going to end up smiling. Doesn't matter how fast you drive or how well you drive. A bit like this, doesn't matter how well you shoot with it. There's something about a side-by-side that will make your day shooting better, regardless of how you shoot. That heritage aspect also allows you to have something just that little bit rarer. It allows you to geek out about your gun, which, to be fair, of course you could do that with a Silver Pigeon. But it's hardly exciting, is it? Being somebody who knows an awful lot about Paxton & Son, for example, that's nice. Having a gun that you can research in depth, that you actually have to work to find information on. Well, I don't know, there's something nice about that. Getting geeky with your toys is kind of what it's about sometimes. Number 7 is couth. The sophistication of having a side-by-side broken over your arm, which by the way is one of the most comfortable guns to carry, just is unsurpassable. However, be careful, because this can soon be cancelled out by the righteousness that comes when you get to talk down to all of the people using clay-bashing drain pipes. Number 8 is experience. The experience of using a side-by-side, as we have said a few times now, is just something a little different. You surpass the need to go and kill birds. You're therefore much more of the sport. Yes, you might be at a slight disadvantage, but you're not actually at any real disadvantage. Only perhaps on these high bird shoots where you need something a little bit more controlled. As such, it becomes more of a sense of occasion of taking the gun out, the ritual of shooting, while still enjoying the real reason we go, which is the company of our friends. You surpass the need to shoot that high bird or caring about your ratio. You really, doesn't matter whether you go into a stand and shoot 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10, because every time you pull the trigger, you're left with a big smile. Number 9 is the price. The fact that side-by-sides are not hugely popular at the moment also means that they are not particularly expensive. You can go out and you can pick up a very nice provincial gun for £500 or £600. On the other end of the price spectrum, the top end stuff is really holding its money, so if you actually want an investment, it's not a bad place to invest. As long as you invest in the right thing, always. Number 10 is the lack of stigma when shooting a side-by-side, the lack of labelling perhaps. There is very little stereotyping or labelling that comes when you pull a side-by-side out at a shoot. Imagine, if you will, the flip side. You pull up at a driven pheasant shoot, with a few guns you know and a few you don't, and you pull out of the bag a Perazzi HPX or a Marufu Mark 38, or, you know, a true high bird gun. People suddenly expect you to do well. If you're at a clay shoot and you bring out a high rib gun or something like that, people do expect you to do well. When you bring one of these out, people won't ask you if you're a good shot. People rarely care whether you're a good shot. What they will ask you is about your gun. And actually there's something quite nice about not having to maintain an appearance of being great if you have a gun that can back that up. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care, goodbye, we'll see you next time. And if you have anything to say on the subject, chuck it below.